was like, freshly 18. That's what I see. You coming out of a cabbage patch, my dog.
Freshly 18.
It is weird.
But it's weird to describe yourself as freshly 18. Like, normal people say, I just turned 18. He said
freshly 18.
But let's keep watching.
Oh, creative.
Yeah, I ain't never described myself like that.
Freshly 18 and had just graduated high school a few weeks prior. I was drunk in a hotel room with other people around me when it happened. He was someone I had once watched, and he was 8 years older than me and far more powerful.
You can't cut that out.
I'm so proud of you and your bravery.
Oh my God.
Yo, these niggas is assholes. They over here laughing their shit. I would just cut the shit up.
Sorry, someone donated to say that shit with a robot. I'm so proud of you and your bravery.
That wasn't what you
I'm sorry, let me just keep
assholes, bro.
The full story is quite short. It was at a convention in a hotel room. It was my first convention I was invited to, so I stuck by one of my best friends the entire time. I was nervous but excited about it all and felt really grown up. One night we were at a house party when we decided to leave. It was me, my best friend, and her other friend. This other friend was romantically talking to a really big creator at the time. He was also the best friend of my soon-to-be assaulter. She wanted to go back to his hotel room, but didn't want to go alone, so we went with her.
Two man?
I didn't really mind, as I was up for anything. When we got to the hotel room, it was the creator, the girl was talking to, and his best friend. The two of them and the three of us. Not much happened that first night, just some drinking and talking at a table. The guy's friend had been passing flirts at me the entire night, but because he was the oldest in the room, we assumed he didn't know my age. Later that night, when I left, I received...
We assumed he didn't know my age, so I didn't tell him. Anyways, what was I gonna say? I don't know what it is with these big YouTubers, right? They can get any woman in the world. Well, damn near any women. Or at least someone closer to the age, but they go after an 18-year-old. Not to say there's anything wrong, but... the motherfuckers that grew up around my generation, they are very much chronically online. And they don't understand. I mean, I'll get to it in a second. I actually don't know the full story, but I'm just going off of how Abba and Preach presented it in the beginning. So,
Instagram DMs from him. And in my Instagram bio, in bold, was my age, 18, confirming he knew how old I was.
The point I'm trying to make is they're very immature.
A few days passed when I found myself in the same situation. Us three were at a party when it got boring, and whether the girl wanted to leave and go to his room, or he asked us to, I cannot remember. Once again, I was drunker than the night before and was willing to go anywhere. I was naive, and so we went back. I remember a friend seeing me in the lobby on the way. They were worried by the way I was acting and asked if I was okay. I was really drunk, and it was an eerie feeling, like they could sense something was wrong, and I wonder what would have happened if I had picked up on it, and if I wasn't drunk, and if I didn't wave it off. But I don't want to dwell on the what-ifs. That night, I went up to his room. Back at the hotel room again were the two friends and us three girls. At the time, all of us girls were already really drunk from the party we were coming from, stumbling and everything. There was more alcohol in the room, and we were encouraged to drink some more as they offered the bottles to us. They said they would join us in drinking, and insisted on drinking games, and, already drunk, I obviously complied. We sat on the couch and answered questions about each other, drinking a bunch, and the older guy sat right next to me while playing. I confused my nerves for excitement, as I had never been around such a big creator before. I remember getting drunker and drunker and really tired around this time. It was about 3 a.m. Right before the incident, I had answered a question about my age. We were playing a drinking game and talking about sex, and I admitted to everyone in the room that I was 18 and that I was a virgin at the time. I remember back now
Okay,
to
I
him
see where
answering
this-
questions during the game about back when he was 19 and when he was in college, noticing how my future
I see where this
was
is
his
going.
past, and I wondered how he felt sitting so close to me. It was a little after that, when I resorted to playing games on my phone when it happened. Out of nowhere, I felt him slip his hand under my clothes, sitting next to me on the couch, in front of everyone. He disguised it with a simple, "Are you ticklish?" I coughed out a no, still staring at my phone. I was overly aware of the fact that we were in front of other people.
Oh my god.
The fact that everyone else was sitting
just shot
around
that shit
us,
from the
watching
hip.
us, including my best friend, and that his hand was inching further to places I hadn't asked for it to be. He made a game out of my embarrassment, where he would touch me in certain areas to make me lose the phone game I was playing. I was scared, and I felt sick, either from the alcohol or from his touch. It didn't matter because my mind was a blur. I didn't speak or move. I remember being afraid to even breathe. I stayed there for a while, hoping my stillness could make me disappear. I eventually had to stand up after many minutes for it to stop. I was scared to leave or make a scene out of the embarrassment. Eventually, later in the night, I found myself alone with him and his friend. Everyone else either passed out or sick. I dread the scenarios that could have played out that night, the what-ifs. I was just so naive, and lucky or not, the night came to an end with just that. The night lasted until 6 a.m. I was still drunk, either from alcohol or tiredness.
Her
I went to
story
leave,
of
and the older guy
I don't
decided to
have my
leave
chat
with
on.
me. We walked to the elevators, where I
Is this
didn't
not
get
entertaining
on.
for you?
He then pretended that the elevator was broken, and that he couldn't leave, telling me to get in the elevator to prove it was broken. And then after a few minutes, he
I'm
ended
not
the
gonna lie,
night
I'm just
with
trying
a,
to
"Guess
see
I'm going
what the
now,"
big deal was.
leaving with a wounded puppy.
Yeah, bro,
look.
she was born. Do you know who this is? I don't know who any of these
He
people are.
proceeded to Instagram message me for a bit after
I'm gonna
that.
be real.
Simple flirting or asking about the next convention.
Yeah, I
was
just saw
going
people
to.
tweaking about it on Twitter. I'm just like, yo, what the
saying
fuck is
stuff
going on?
about seeing me there. Simple messages, ultimately filtered
Apparently,
into
some
nothing.
people got drunk
At the time
in the
of it
hotel,
all, I
and
convinced
some
myself
dude
I
was
was
tickling
lucky.
her or some shit.
I was lucky that that had happened to me. I was excited to be around such big creators, to be at that convention in general. I figured
like
that's
she's
just
a
how things
tika-
were.
a se-
That was the price I
Fucking
had
hell.
to pay to be there.
I can't see.
That
She
anyone
seemed
would
like
have
she's
loved
a
to be in my
attention seeker.
position,
Yeah.
and that I should have appreciated it.
It would sure come off that way. Especially since she keeps on scrunching her face up and crying and not actually crying. Nah, she's lying. I don't trust streamer girls at all.
It was a first.
I give people a chance, you
that
know.
night.
I like
It
to
was
hear
the first time
I like to hear both
had ever
stories
touched me.
and compare it. Okay, now she's actually crying.
I
That's
assured
really good.
myself that I was just being sensitive about it all,
I haven't heard the other dude's
that
story.
it wasn't a big deal. But assuring only can go so far. I felt dirty in a way that I couldn't wash off.
God damn, she's still talking. I want to listen to us like everyone is right in their opinion. I mean, from the little bits that I heard from this story on Twitter, what I got from it was everyone got drunk and the dude was tickling up on her. And it seems like from his side, he thought it was consensual. She didn't think it was, and it just seemed like there was a misunderstanding. Maybe he was misreading signals or some shit. Like, it don't seem like he tried to rape her.
He's slipping my hands down her pants.
No.
No, he did.
No, he didn't.
So he touched
Because,
her boob.
like, here's the thing about this generation, which is what I was alluding to earlier, is that they confuse awkwardness or miscommunication. Jeez, I can't speak, for assault. You can not feel good about something and nothing morally or legally wrong happened. Like, two of those things can happen at the same time. People do this kind of stuff for views and engagement. Can't trust anyone. I do think people do this stuff for views and engagement, but at the same time, I do think certain people feel as though something wrong did happen to them. A lot have, like, she clearly looks distraught, but just because you feel like something wrong happened to you does not mean something bad happened to you. But I do agree some people do it for attention.
Abba, this is not me being insensitive.
But that just comes down to, like, because when they tell their friends and shit, they be like, yo, this happened to me. Like, bro, you got, and their friends be like, bro, you gotta, like, tell everybody. You gotta tell the internet, you know? Because, like, realistically, if she went to the police, they're probably gonna look at her and be like, yo, I don't think anything wrong happened if she has gone to the police. But
this is me not being the smartest guy. You understand what I'm saying? I'm slow. So, where did she get touched?
Where on the teddy bear did she get touched?
So
yes, I need. Yeah, the context is very important. But
okay, so
I
just
thought
a
I
couple
had
points
context.
to know. Nobody knew that she was 18.
This generation is soft.
Because the event was 21 plus. That's why she was allowed to drink.
I think that.
So this is his response.
Context to this scenario.
I do think that is true, but at the same time, I also think that we just, like, what's the word? We don't have conversations about stuff like this. Like, we don't have conversations on what's consent, what's not consent, how to communicate. Like, we just don't we just don't do it. So motherfuckers come into a situation where nothing happened, all nervous and jittery and shit, and they walk away thinking that they got molested or some shit. When in all reality, that shit may not have happened. It's like we just don't talk about this.
People that are over the age of 21 in a scenario where we are doing things that people that are over the age of 21 are doing, like drinking, and also the people that came from an event where they had very heavy security. This was an official VidCon after party, and with previous VidCon after parties, I even had problems getting into these events. I've gone back and reviewed texts from the time, and there was actually a picture where it was shown like that they had this 21 plus wristband on one of their wrists. So from my perspective, it's a bunch of 21 plus year olds hanging out. I have no reason to think otherwise, other than her Instagram bio, but I just didn't see it. Next, she said,
okay, so here's the thing about that. He says that they had the over 21 wristband, so that means she probably brought a fake ID, or they just gave her one just to give her one. This is all irrelevant because people are going to say that she was under 21 and she was drinking, but no rational human being is going to be like, this adult who was under the drinking age, like, that just puts him in the wrong automatically, you know? Like, I think that's dumb as shit. I'm under the drinking age, and I'll tell you that. This like, that whole part that she brought in and that they're talking about just does not matter.
This is a quote, resorted to playing games on her phone to avoid
the important part
situation.
was the assault.
I just don't see how this is the case. She's implying that she is using her phone to essentially escape, you know, such an awkward scenario that she's in, but that's just not how it happened, and this is why. She brought up the phone game as kind of a point. The game was honestly the central point of the interaction at this part of the night. It was a very social thing, you know. She was passing the phone around. We were all playing the game and bantering about it, just having fun with the game. So I don't see how, like, she resorted to it and was using it in that context.
I don't like that light.
She wasn't being awkward at all. There was no sense of uncomfortability from her. She was laughing and playing with everyone. And yeah, I'm not really sure why she phrased it like this. We actually continued to send each other high score updates even weeks after the event. To add further context to this moment, we were all actually sitting on the couch that was in the hotel room playing this game on her phone. They had already been drinking before they arrived. They were drunk, and the way this is phrased, it makes us out to look like they're
just giving alcohols to underage people. See, this is the thing I'm talking about. It's like, I think what happened was she told her friends about this situation, and her friends said, like, bro, you gotta come out and say something, because that's crazy.
Preying on them.
Then she retroactively felt like a victim.
when that's not the case. And as I mentioned earlier, they were even the ones asking to play the drinking games via the texts before they had even arrived. So then, this is when her most important claim happens. I'm just going to read the quote. She says, "Out of nowhere, I felt him slip his hand under my clothes, sitting next to me on the couch, in front of everyone. He disguised it with a simple, 'Are you ticklish?' I coughed out a no, and still staring at my phone, I was overly aware of the fact that we were in front of other people. The fact that everyone else was sitting around us, watching us, including my best friend, and that his hand was inching further to places I hadn't asked it to be. Again, as I mentioned before, we had previously been cuddling on this couch for around an hour, but I did place my hand on her waist under her shirt. The way it's phrased makes it sound like it just happened out of nowhere, when in reality we had been cuddling for over an hour at this point, and it was not out of nowhere."
So this is the shit I'm talking about. It's like this, like if she had really felt uncomfortable, which she probably did, the least you could do is be like, "Hey, bro, like don't be touching me down there," you know. Then if he keeps on doing it, then it's assault. Not to say that you could do whatever you want as long as the bitch doesn't say no, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. This is I don't know.
So they were cuddling.
Like, if someone was cuddling with me and they touched me somewhere that I did not want to be touched, I'd be like, "Hey, bro, like,"
and that's what all.
You know what I mean? Stop. Cut that shit out.
That's what all this is about. I can't.
Like a bitch try to stick her finger in my ass. I'm like, yo.
He went, Gucci. Me too. I couldn't believe it. I had to go back and reread that shit 5 times. Like, wait, he touched her titty, right? Gucci, go. You know that Pillsbury though. Me too. Yeah, that's what it's about. And you know what they're saying? Cuddling doesn't mean you have the right to touch her stuff. Hey, yo, didn't I tell you this is one of the dumbest? Didn't I tell you this is one of the dumbest?
This shit reminds me of that TikTok where I don't know what these people were. I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess their gender, whatever. But the motherfuckers in the barber shop, and the barber kept on asking for permission to cut people's hair. Not cut people's hair. Ask for permission to touch them. Like, "Excuse me, can I touch you? All right, now what's your pronouns?" Like, is that how these people on Twitter react or interact with other people when they get into something sexual?
Things I've ever heard.
So what's happening now?
They canceled this dude. He got pulled from a bunch of advertisement, everything.
All right, interact.
If a dude did it, he did it. Make him pay. That's fine. He tickled her stomach. I don't give a fuck. I'm 18. You had an over 21 bracelet. Ma, he didn't know that you just pretending like he knew, and you're framing it this way. But again, maybe
I still don't think that shit.
But we don't even have to go there because he didn't know her age. 1, and 2, when he found out her age, he's like, "No, thank you." That's why they're trying
to make us seem like he got her drunk to try and fuck her or some shit. Like, I don't think anything sexual even happened.
Did for a while. Remember she said that?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons
that would be fucked up.
I just realized. You know what fucked me up? When she was talking, and now I'm pissed now. Now I'm pissed. I just realized why I thought I was slow. Okay? Because when she was talking, she was like, "I'm freshly 18. And we spoke, and I was a virgin at the time. That's what fucked me up.
Because they're trying to make it seem like, you know, he pressured her into having sex. Another thing that got me fucked up when you said he was reaching for spots in other parts of her body that she didn't give her permission to. It made it seem like he was trying to grab her by the pussy or like grab her titty or some shit.
Because now you're putting this unnecessary information in the story that you were virgin and at the time, and the way you're framing this, my mind went 2 steps further. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh shit.
Oh shit."
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm in Majora got perforated, but no, the way you is the frame up.
Why mention it though? Because he don't know that. How would he know any of these details that you've never been touched.
Bro.
It's so dumb.
And half an hour until I started moving my hand further up. And the way it's phrased just makes it seem like it happened pretty instantly and pretty quickly. There was nothing quick about it. It was very slow. And I was very cautious about it and making sure that she was comfortable throughout the process. Me and Katie were very touchy, very cuddly, and very slowly got more intimate. I've always been overly cautious with consent, and this is not just because I'm a creator. I've been like this since before I was a creator, and I think that's just the way I am and just the way it should be. Nothing came out of nowhere. Everything progressed very slowly throughout the night. And also, before I continue, I want to make it clear that the furthest anything ever got was under the shirt touching and cuddling. Now, obviously, people don't typically ask if everything is okay, even such as touching someone's waist under their shirt before they do it. But in this case, I was extremely slow. And
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you this, all right? Stack your money up, get an ex-worker, okay, and ask for the GE. GE is the girlfriend experience.
I don't think that. I just think these people are just too online. They're too online brain, and so that's why they talk like.
You don't even have to
go on Twitter.
The thing is, you don't even have to do that shit. Like, I mean, obviously, it's more convenient to pay a sex worker, get your rocks off, whatever. But at the same time, I think it's just the way the internet reacts to shit, and the way that the person the receiving end reacts to it. Because I heard that he apologized for some shit when he didn't have to apologize. But at the same time, I don't blame him. If people are pressuring you and calling you a predator, you might be like, hey man, like, I'm sorry for whatever happened. I think he got kicked off his group. I don't know what group it was. But it's like you don't even gotta do all that. We just need to change the culture for real.
And they make this big thing, and then you get all this support. But in real life, you tell this story to most people, they'll be like, so he touched her stomach?
No, it's because I'm old, bro. I think it's really because I'm old.
I don't think so. It's not old thing.
It's like an online versus offline thing.
This is just people who are too online.
But it's a lot of people that is too online. If there's a lot of people that is too online, it becomes the norm, because a lot of people too online get him canceled. It becomes the norm. It means that it's a thing. It matters to that many people. You understand? It means that I'm the one that is out of date. I'm gonna take me out of the equation. All right, and as if I raise a son, I'm gonna be like, hey, you know what?
Your job is biasing you because you're always watching stories that are online. You're convinced this is bigger than it actually is.
No, I'm not basing it on the fact that I'm so looking at stories online. You watch stories online. I live out there. But if this dude gets canceled,
but he's also in the online world.
Sure.
If you start seeing it in everyday life where someone touched somebody, then we can have a conversation.
That's
most people in real life are going to.
The only argument against the whole this is some online shit is that there's an increasing number of people on the internet, you know, and being brainwashed
and people that really
by the shit they see on social media.
Fear that I'm not gonna talk because people are gonna laugh at me. People are gonna diminish what I'm saying and this and that. It's just that
you're cuddling with someone for an hour and they touch your waist. I don't give a fuck. Actually, don't give a shit. Nothing happened to you. You're not a victim. You're actually somebody who's fucking nefarious for trying to turn this into a bigger story than what it is. Just because you drink doesn't mean you're not accountable for the things that happen. Sorry. If you were to drink and drive, we would say you're accountable. If you want to drink and cuddle with a dude, don't be like, I'm so drunk. Shut up. Stop that shit. Unless you stumbling and falling over, don't. And also, this is what I don't understand about this whole like, oh, I was a bit drunk or whatever. Okay, cool. Fine. He also drinks too. What happens then? Can anybody...
Bro, listen, in this situation, when they're both drinking, it's always the man's fault. At least in the eyes of the public. Like, the only, like I said, the only problem there would be if he was just trying to get her drunk and he was just sober, you know? Then it's like, okay, you're just taking advantage of a drunk person at that point. That's how it would come across. But everybody was drinking.
Anybody consent to anything? Can anybody even have a conversation?
No. Has power. Nah, this...
Like, I hate the fact that people will consciously drink, then immediately when accountability starts to come in through the window, they'll be like, shut it down, I was drunk. No. Nah. I don't buy that.
I cheated because I was drunk.
If you can't drink, don't drink. No. Don't try to do adult things, and then when you have to do adult responsibilities, then you back out. Sorry. No.
Stream, it was after she'd already streamed it, but not long after, so people hadn't yet made the connection that it was relating to me. And when watching it, I was like, I was actually interested. I was thinking, okay, what's this gonna be about? And then when she started saying more and more details, I realized, wait, this is about me. I was very confused, very shocked, and didn't quite know what to think, given I had no impression of any wrongdoing throughout this whole relationship that I had with her. None at all. Like, it was, if anything, it was the opposite. I thought we had a pretty good relationship, despite the fact that we actually hadn't talked in a while. I thought if I had seen her,
like I said, there was probably someone again,
in her everything would be fine and we would be friends.
Saying, like, you
it was actually
take
around this point
down.
after VidCon had finished and we were messaging that I found out her age. And since then, I never pursued anything going forward, and I essentially stopped messaging her. Her last message to me was August 1st, 2023, and I haven't replied to her since then.
Okay, I scheduled an appointment for my next available time, so I'll see you then. Sarcasm. Okay, so maybe this was either there was someone in her ear, or maybe she just felt some type of way that you stopped messaging her.
Watched her stream. I was pretty confused.
I will say she did not look that old, but some people just look.
Because the internet was coming down on him so hard. He's like, "I'm sorry," blah 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 blah. Listen, I'm telling you, these kids are so online brained. They're learning consent from sources that aren't reasonable about consent. They think that if you're cuddling with someone, it's not a reasonable escalation to touch their stomach, and if you do, you're some kind of predator. I saw one dude fucking lose his mind. One of the funniest videos you're ever... Listen, watch this shit, bro. You need to actually see this, because this doesn't even look real.
Like, Katie's mind changed. Somebody changed Katie's mind after the fucking... to make them look bad. I was there 3 weeks after Katie was assaulted by GeorgeNotFound, 4 fucking weeks or whatever, and she cried in my fucking arms. This 19-year-old girl, 18-year-old girl, she cried in my fucking arms because of what you did, GeorgeNotFound. I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. No one had changed her mind.
Bro, the only thing that would ever get white men this fired up is a white woman crying. All of a sudden they become an activist. But I'm not gonna lie, if I'm that other dude, I don't know the other dude's name, you scream at me and call me accusations like this, if I see you at any VidCon, Minecraft Con, Twitch Con, don't shake hands with me. In fact, it might be on site.
No one. This was a fucking horrible thing to have happened to her. And to try and use me, my friends, or anybody else as a scapegoat for your fucking sexual abuse is disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. Okay? My friend cried in my fucking arms about this, and you're on stream denying it all, denying the fucking hurt.
This nigga just don't seem real.
That you caused to her.
Am I just numb?
Disgusting fucking people. You and all of your abuse sympathizer friends. You are all fucking horrible. Seriously.
He just does not seem real. He seems very performative.
Sorry. That one got me.
I was just looking at pearls.
So, thoughts?
No, I ain't got no thoughts. He's just mad. He's just mad. Why is it so happy?
It's just like if people are this upset over some girl's stomach being touched. You're cuddling with a dude. You're consenting to the cuddles. You admit so yourself. Everyone's in the room. It's happening in front of 5-6 other people. He touched your stomach and you do all this? Oh, hell no. Do you guys want to do adults? You drinking, partying, hotel rooms, all this stuff, flirting with people, but you can't say no to, I don't want you to touch my stomach. I'm sorry. Jesus.
Exactly what the point I was getting to. If you didn't like it, should have said, hey man,
stay the fuck
don't like this.
Why you say sorry to Jesus?
Because
he keeps on doing it, nigga's a freak.
That is disgustingly infantile.
Yeah.
Like, these are some of the softest people. She out here crying because her stomach got touched. Yo, I don't care, man. And look how big I felt dirty to, holy shit. And look, if I'm being as generous and as empathetic as I can be, I can imagine that for someone who's never been intimate with anybody in their whole life, being touched that way maybe felt more important and powerful to you than anything else, right? I could imagine that the first time a girl sat on my knee, that was the craziest thing in the world for me, okay? When I was 13, you're an 18-year-old who apparently never been touched on her stomach? Okay, maybe that's the case. You have to understand that's
Bro, I
not a
remember a
reasonable
time
thing for you to project on
the
everyone
bitch
else.
first time
Not
put my
everyone else
fingers
is
in her
gonna
mouth,
think,
I felt like I was getting
touching the
sucked
stomach
off.
is some sacred fucking thing. Especially when you're cuddling with them. Like, you have to understand how you yourself send very mixed signals when you position yourself literally next to somebody on the couch where you're full body connecting, and then at the same time be shocked when a hand goes on the stomach. You're not being a reasonable person in that moment. So, you feel bad? That's okay.
Bruh.
That's okay, you feel bad. But just because you feel bad, here's it is. Just because you feel bad doesn't mean someone did something bad to you.
Yep.
And just because you felt violated doesn't mean someone violated you. You just need some therapy.
And you recollect all these information and all these feelings.
Nigga, you don't even need no fucking therapy. You just like if you're in a situation where you're with another adult and you feel uncomfortable and you can't communicate that, you just need to work on your communication skills. That's all. That's all it is.
How can
Therapy
you have
is
the
extreme.
recollection of all these feelings that happened and how you felt, but
you need to get more comfortable expressing your boundaries.
How can you be blurry and exact at the same time? You can recollect everything that happened and how. No.
I'm blurry and you're clear.
Yes. Yeah. I like what the fuck you did there. But how can you do that? You felt every second, minute, every step you take, but you were so release.
You somehow forget the part where you had an over 21 band and that you've been cuddling on the couch for hours. Just I appreciate you making it to the end of the video. Don't forget to like or dislike and subscribe and hit the bell notification. Another thing, look into my description and you will see that I have a link tree with all my social medias down there. So you can see that I stream on Twitch, I do reactions, and I play games. Also, join my Discord if you want to send me ideas for topics to talk about in my video, or just chit chat with me. If you want to just send me an idea personally, you can follow me on Twitter and send me a DM. Bye, have a good one.